Track Wrestling with Nick Mitchell, head wrestling coach at Grandview University. We had the facilities tour last time. We got a chance to see your big, massive room. You still enjoying that?
I'm loving it, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's full right now, too. It's good.
Kids like that?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's the thing. It gives us an ability to hold a big roster, and we do. We have a big team, and we do that on purpose. They say strength in numbers for a reason, and we believe in it.
We are at Night of Conflict, and you had a chance to see some of the top Iowa high school talent. What do you look for out of these kids? What do you want to see when you're watching them wrestle?
Obviously, you like to see guys that you feel like have a good upside. I like it just to see guys that can move, and obviously just things like this. You don't expect kids to be at maybe their best or at their peak, but I like to see a guy that's still in pretty good shape right now because it shows he's doing something outside of the regular season. So a guy that comes in here in good shape and of course just scraps the whole time. And that was one thing tonight. There were some big finishes at the end, and I was impressed just seeing some guys wrestle the entire match.
You go for best available. Do you ever consider like, hey, they're a D1 talent, we don't go after them? What's your mentality going into recruiting?
That's tough, I mean, we try not to limit ourselves, but obviously you don't want to spin your wheels and spend time on a guy that you absolutely know is going to go Division I. So but you'd be surprised sometimes, and I think the majority of the best kids we talk to are looking at us in Division I schools, and we're used to that. So it's we tried to do our homework and see where they're at with everything.
Are you pretty much on their radar with all these kids?
Yeah, for the most part. I think at least the seniors we've talked to most of them.
And they know about the tradition, they know about Grandview.
Yeah, that's the best thing now is that when we started the program, there was no tradition, there was no Grandview, and so every phone call took about 20 minutes because I had to tell them who I was and who we were, and now there's some pretty good name recognition there, so that part's a lot easier.
How's recruiting changed when you first started till now?
That part especially, man, just the guys, at least for us, they knew who we are now. But the other part is kids don't talk on the phone anymore. It's all it's text, it's social media, and so luckily I've got some pretty good young assistant coaches. Grant Henderson, he's full time with us now, and he's the man. He knows how to get a hold of all these young guys. He's young, so he does some like Snapchat and whatever, and they communicate that way, and it works out pretty nice for us.
How's it been having a women's program?
It's been awesome so far. Yeah, they're doing a really good job. Coach Grinzy's doing an awesome job. I've tried to be a resource for him as much as I can, and it reminds me of our first years, and so it's kind of cool to see somebody else going through it, and I think it's probably hopefully we can be a good resource for somebody that has gone through it for those guys.
You went to Wartburg, and we just see a Wartburg pipeline. Jim Miller was here, Eric Keller's here as the head coach at Wartburg, and then TJ is at Loras. He went to Wartburg. Is it because of Wartburg that you think there's such a good pipeline and they're doing so good?
It's because Coach Miller. I mean, Coach Miller is the guy. I mean, he's the reason. And Wartburg's a great place, but he's what made my experience at Wartburg unique and made it special. And he's still a mentor of mine. He's still a guy I talk to all the time. And I know he's somebody I can go to if I need advice or if I need a little motivation or if I need yelled at. He'll still yell at me if I need it. So he's the guy. He's the reason.
What's the number one thing you took from him that you apply to your team?
I think the biggest thing is probably just not setting a limit on anything, and that's something we've really tried to do at Grandview. Is we're a small school, but we've never set limits on ourselves as far as how good we could be. We don't really care too much about the division. We don't care about the size of the school. We just care about going out and trying to beat the best that we can.
Were you always so competitive growing up?
I was, yeah.
Were you?
I don't know what it was. It just naturally was. And it's something, to be honest, like I think sometimes in wrestling we like pride ourselves, like, oh, I'm tougher because I'm overly competitive, and sometimes that just means you're immature. And I was definitely immature about my competitive level growing up, and so it's something that as a coach I've had to get better at because I hate losing so much that sometimes you got to sit back and get a little bit better view on things before you just lose your cool and throw coolers and freak out.
I'm just going into my memory bank here. It seems like there was a time where you didn't even place at JV conference or something. Like, refresh me on what happened there.
Talking to Coach Miller, I placed. I just didn't place very high.
Okay,
I got beat. My freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah, JV conference. I got beat my freshman year, and Coach Miller was going to yell at me. My dad beat him to the punch, and so he didn't have to yell at me that day. So that's when I knew that between Millboy and my dad, there was a pretty good 1-2 punch right there. So we figured it out. We remedied the situation.
We'll end on outlook for the season. What do you expect out of the Grandview program?
It's the same as always. This time of year, really no idea. I mean, we're just we're getting into the part where we're getting really close to competing right now. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm fired up. I'm anxious. I'm all of it. You know, I just can't wait to get on the mat and figure out where we need to get better. And it's going to be the same goal as always, and that has nothing to do with winning titles. The goal is to find out how good we can be, and hopefully we win a title along the way. But that's not the end goal. The end goal is let's find out how good we can be at the end of the year.
Nick Mitchell in Grandview, 8 in a row. We'll see if he can make it 9. Thanks.